guys, today's video is about this rather gorgeous looking beast. This is the Quattro by Karl Longbottom. Yes, named after the car. Very good choice. Now if you know Karl already, you'll know that he specialises in ultra lightweight guitars which feel amazing. While this isn't a lightweight bass, it is his first foray into the bass world. So I thought this would be a really interesting thing to cover. I think it's really cool that he's actually stretching out into doing basses now as well, and that's really, really exciting for what the future holds. He's very kindly dropped this off for me to demo, so thank you, Karl, you are a legend. This one is a demo one, so if you see any kind of scratches or anything like that, it's just because it goes around shows and people like me who all get to put their grubby paws on it. So if you see anything like that, that's all it is. But this is an absolutely stunning bass. I hope the new camera is doing this justice because it's gorgeous. Feels nice to play. I'll read off a list of the specs so you know just what we're kind of looking at. So it is an ash body, nitro finish, maple neck with an oil finish, rosewood fretboard, a bone nut at 1.5 inches, Wilkinson hardware, some bare pickups, so these have a split P with a phase reversal, and the other one is a 51 bucker with a coil split. So the 51 bucker is basically a 51P bass single coil but doubled up. It has CTS pots, orange drop capacitors, switchcraft jack. So this one is what Karl calls the Kadett range, and that is how he says the no-nonsense version, which I love. This is also available in his custom shop as well, so you can have the more kind of sparkly version where if you want, instead of the open grain finish, you can have flame, anything you want, but this is the no-nonsense version and actually I really like it. I think it feels really nice. The neck is kind of a mix between a P bass and a jazz bass. I would say it's closer to a jazz bass down here. It does get a bit wider than a jazz bass once you get up the dusty end, but that's not an issue. I don't have the biggest hands and I'm not having an issue reaching around this neck, so it's not a huge neck whatsoever. Really nicely carved. Not too heavy considering it's an ash body and it's not even swamp ash, so you don't even have that kind of extra little bit of weight relief. So considering this is just solid ash, it's actually not that heavy. I mean, you can see how I throw it around, sorry Karl. But yeah, it feels lovely, rings out really well as well, even acoustically. Sounds lovely. I'll show you some isolated sounds so you can actually hear what this bass sounds like in isolation. No effects or anything, just purely this bass. So I think this bass is a really diverse sounding bass. It's got such a warm sound to it though, no matter what you do, in a good way. It's just really smooth, plays really nicely. When you're on this pickup, I found it actually does the kind of Andy Fraser sound. It is putting me in mind a lot of Andy Fraser's sound, so kind of the EB bass. If you see my demo of that, you'll probably be making the same connection between the two sounds as I am. It's a gorgeous sounding bass. Again, really diverse, good for funk stuff, especially because it really does cut through. It does that kind of mid-rangey, honky sound really, really well. That in particular, I would say, is a strength of this bass, but it handles pretty much everything really nicely. Again, really smooth, really rings out on the harmonics, does slap bass really well. Not all basses do. Feels lovely to play, doesn't feel really tense. It's just a lovely bass. I'm really impressed with it. Also has a really cool logo on the headstock. But yeah, hopefully I've done this bass justice. I have done an end jam, as usual, and I think this is probably one of the most different sounding jams I've done on the channel so far. It was really unexpected. It kind of came out of nowhere, but I really like what this bass gave me. Again, I think every instrument has something to give, and I like to try and just go with it and not have any set expectations or like ignore it and go, no, we're doing this, because I want to hear what the instrument's got to give. So hopefully I've captured that. Also, I will put a link in the description to my Bandcamp where you can download my original music if you like it, including the one at the end. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.